Good morning, everyone, and thanks for being here. My name is Jason McGuigan, and I lead the XR program, or the VR program, rather, at Lenovo through our XR team. And I'm very excited to be here with you today in Madeira. You'll notice some of the visuals I put up on screen here. I've actually taken a drone with me and was able to capture some of the beauty here, so that way, instead of just looking at me, you get to experience a little bit of the island and enjoy that. Because really, the aspects we're going to be talking about today, and we're going to have a big global product announcement we're going to go over. But I want to talk a little bit about the place that we're at and where we're going and why we're here. So starting off, Madeira obviously is amazing, a beautiful place, something that looks surreal. And it's very special from the aspect that you can't just walk out your door and end up in Madeira. You have to put purpose into getting here. And most importantly, the people here have been open, welcoming, and our hosts have been fantastic. So we're very fortunate to be in this space. But the reason we got to this space was because IGS brought us here, right? Everyone here is here for this conference. We're excited to be here with this group because it's a thoughtful group. And you heard Nathan's talk earlier. There's a lot of purpose in the drive behind what IGS does. But most importantly, it's innovative. It brings together leaders in the field and takes you to that point where you start to think about what's possible. But of course, it is about the people as well. And when we take those two things together, we bring IGS and Madeira. We have people of like minds coming together, communicating, working together, collaborating in a place that seems unreal. So what buzzy buzzword do we talk about all the time that this sounds an awful lot like? Well, the Metaverse. So obviously we're not in the Metaverse yet, and we're not here just yet, but we're all building towards that. And it is a little crazy right now with all the chatter. It is absolutely an enormous buzz all the time. We hear Metaverse, Metaverse, Metaverse. It's been top of mind and part of the conversation for the past year, and even going back further. But what does it even mean? And we're still learning that. So I heard Amy talk about where we're at right now, where we could go, the potential of actually doing something good. At its basic, we're looking to try and converge digital and physical worlds and reuse and be resourceful with data. So we don't just do it once and dispose of it. We do it once and we reuse it again and again, and we create something continuous and usable in an immersive space. And to be immersed, to me at least, means that you're feeling something. You've got more of your senses engaged. You're not just looking at something on screen, you're actually feeling connected to it. We want to be able to live, learn, work, play, and do things in the metaverse. And as we are growing this digital space in our physical world, we're going to be adopting more and more of the technologies to make that possible. So take a moment, and I'm going to give you a moment to look around and look at the other people in here in the room, because I think it's very important. I'll give you a little dramatic music. So, cue dramatic music. And when you're looking around, determining who you want to have a beer with later on, who you want to have lunch with, or who you want to avoid, you have to remember that it's not Neil Stephenson when he came up with the Metaverse concept in Snow Crash. It's not Ernie Klein, who revitalized it for today's audience with Ready Player One. And it's not Mark Zuckerberg, who changed a multi-billion, billion dollar company to focus solely on that. They all deserve credit for where we're at and absolutely where we're going. But it is you folks that are actually building the possibility of what the Metaverse is going to be. The people in this room, people all around the world that are participating in this movement will be building this. So how do we get there? We know the road ahead is very long. We are at the point right now where we could see the work ahead of us. And I do believe, and again, Amy touched on this towards the end, that commercial does lead the way. So your industry will lead the way because they have the most money to spend on it and also the most to gain. And that's the area that we focus in on our team. Definitely key to have immersive content. So for us, that means hardware that can actually put you in a new place. And I don't think I need to sell anybody in this room on it, but we do need to sell the rest of the world on the concept that this is something good and can be good for our future. So what's our easiest analog for the metaverse that we always use when we talk about where we are today? Any guesses? Anyone? No? All right, the internet, obviously. We know that the internet was publicly available on August 6, 1991. That's when it first came out, but up until that point, there was plenty of iterations and things that people were working on that led to that date. Now, we don't have a direct analog for that within the metaverse, but for ease of use, I'm going to use March 25th, 2016 as our start date, because that was the day that commercially available VR was available to people to bring into their homes. It's the day that people started getting shipments of the Oculus Rift CV1. So the Rift CV1 was launched 2,379 days ago. All right? If you do that math and you take that 2,379 days and you add it on top of the first days of the internet, you end up on February 9th, 1998. It's not a very exciting time in technology. It wasn't something that a year time that was going on where everything was happening great, especially around the internet. We had a lot of doubters. People were absolutely saying this thing is going to fail. The biggest things going on that month: Intel released a graphics chip, AOL raised their prices, and this is one of those things that I couldn't believe. Bill Gates had a pie thrown in his face in Brussels, and that was the biggest news in technology that month. And I'm telling you, I looked this up, and I thought, maybe I'll show a video of it. And it sounds really funny, but when you look up the video, it's really harrowing. It's like surprisingly scary. Some guy runs up on the street, gets out of his car, runs up on the street, and smashes a pie in his face, and it looked like some bizarre assassination attempt by clowns. It was absolutely ridiculous. So if you have a chance, go back and look at the Bill Gates pie in the face video. But not a lot going on, and it was a Monday. So you double down on the things that just were kind of like, meh. But to me, that's actually a really good starting point. Because Monday's the day you look at your week ahead, and you say, I really have to get ahead, really have to get through all this work, and I got to get to the weekend, but I've got this mountain of work ahead of us. And that's where we are. We're on the Metaverse's Monday. We're trying to build up to this idea of where we can be, but we're at the beginning of the road. We're looking ahead, we see that mountain of work, and we're just getting started. Back in February, that point, 98, there was no Google, still 7 months away. Facebook, 6 years away. All the things we use on our smartphones, Instagram, Netflix, Hulu, Twitter, Zoom, there wasn't even smartphones. We will get there, and we'll have our moment where people will look back and see what we've achieved here as those initiation points. We're not there yet, though. So, using Bill Gates, again, this excellent quote: we always overestimate the change that will occur in the next 2 years and underestimate the change that will occur in the next 10. So we absolutely feel like we should be much farther along, but then years down the road, we're going to look back and be shocked at how far we've come. So we went over a little geography, a little math, a little history, and now we have science and technology. So science saw us through a global pandemic, and technology did its best to keep us together. But we need better tools, and they need to be implemented across industries. And companies and employees are recognizing that. So what did businesses learn? A lot of businesses learned they could save a lot of money when people were not traveling. So one of the few companies that have released details on that, Amazon saved over $1 billion in 2020 alone on travel costs. Just one company, one metric, over $1 billion just from not having people travel. Phenomenal amount of money. And employees learn that they like flexibility. They want to be able to work where they want to work. They want to be able to take care of their families. They want to do all the things that life insists on and still do their jobs. So we end up with the hybrid workforce. We have people that now work from home and people that work remote, and we're all collaborating together. Schooling was disrupted. So we know we need that hybrid workforce because still to this day, students are behind because of the pandemic. Remote healthcare became much more familiar. We were all able to see doctors virtually. but what about actually getting therapies virtually? And businesses caught on because they realized they need better tools, and as they're getting better tools, they realized they could use those tools to save money, generate additional ROI for their businesses through this technology. And for us, we say the metaverse is not just about games. Because as much as we appreciate the gaming sector, as much as we appreciate social media, the metaverse is about getting things done. Working, learning, connecting, and caring for one another through virtual presence. And enterprises are absolutely diving in. Which brings us to our amazing ThinkReality team at Lenovo. We've got some of the best people working on our products within the ThinkReality team. And we believe that enterprise hardware that's developed specifically for enterprise use cases, should be developed by an enterprise hardware company. We are, after all, the world's #1 PC manufacturer, so it gives us a lot of credit with companies, and ultimately makes us a very trusted worldwide brand, which makes it much easier for us to go and engage with customers. So if we could do all that for the IT backbones of companies, for the infrastructure within these organizations, what can we do for the enterprise metaverse? And that's where we get to announce. So what we can do, I'm glad you asked.
Ready or not, the metaverse is coming. A digital layer on our physical world.
But what does that even mean? You've got real work to get done and people to connect. We get it. That's why for us, the metaverse is not a game. Which is why we created the ThinkReality VRX, your gateway to the enterprise metaverse. So you can train your team, letting them get hands-on, literally, gaining real experience for lasting results. Bring your hybrid workforces together to keep them collaborating and creativity flowing. Engineer that next big thing, or learn in safe, repeatable, and exciting new ways. Whatever your business, the ThinkReality VRX was built with you in mind. Privacy, security, supports, yeah, those are our top priorities too. But you need to think ahead, which means advanced optics and color mixed reality pass-through, so the real world can meet the virtual one. And versatility, giving you control over how your experiences get powered and how they're developed. All backed by a true enterprise partner ready to support your needs and scale your solution into the metaverse. The ThinkReality VRX. You don't play games with your business. Neither do we.
So that's the ThinkReality VRX, a product that we've been working on for some time now for the enterprise customer. It is an all-in-one 6-stop VR headset. It also has mixed reality capabilities, which I'm going to go into. We're seeing this as the ideal solution for enterprise customers to begin working in this space or to continue the work that they're doing. It is, as mentioned, exclusively for business. And it's because for us, as mentioned, the metaverse is not a game. We respect businesses' time, their privacy, their initiatives. We make sure that we take it seriously. So some of the features on the device I'm going to talk to you about has advanced folded optics, otherwise known as pancake lenses. So it gives you a dramatically smaller form factor, both from the height and depth. Obviously, we can't do anything about the width, because then you're only going to have one eye covered. So we have to bring these form factors down to make people more comfortable with it. And we put a lot of effort, we did a lot of UX studies around that to make sure that this device is ready for people to utilize in daily use. The lenses also provide dramatically better clarity. So a pancake lens versus a traditional Fresnel lens has less of those telltale whorls around the lens that you get that aberration when you look through the headset of a Fresnel lens type. And that edge-to-edge clarity gives you a much larger sweet spot. So you put the headset on and you're ready to go. There's not a lot of fussing around with it, not a lot of adjusting. Also gives us an extremely well-balanced design. So you notice front to back, The device almost is perfectly balanced. If you put 2 fingers across the temples there, around where that eye on ThinkReality is underneath there, you could balance this device on just 2 fingers. And the reason we do that is to make sure that it's easy to wear and more comfortable to wear over longer periods of time. And that's buoyed in the back by that long life battery. And you'll notice that the padding, and here's the pointer here, right over here, padding on the back and the front, it's curved to the back of your head and to the front of your head to make sure it's secure. It will come with a top strap for people that like to wear it for longer periods of time, but we're not requiring that, and we find most people will actually enjoy wearing it without that. One of the other major features, briefly mentioned, is mixed reality pass-through. So we have a button on the bottom of the headset that you just simply click, and you can see through to the real world in full color at any time. That's going to give you an amazing, just simple day-to-day utilization where you can click that button, talk to a coworker, check an email, grab a drink of water without removing your headset. A lot of benefits just from the utility of it, but obviously the color pass-through, the big portion of that is to make sure that we're implementing newer use cases through mixed reality to allow you to augment the real world with 3D assets. So being able to place 3D objects in your physical space in AR-like experiences, but with the quality level of a VR device where you have full field of view as well as much more richer, detailed graphics. And we believe in versatility in this device. So, of course, being such a big PC manufacturer, we're going to allow you to power it by a PC as well. We also support cloud rendering services like NVIDIA's Cloud XR. And you can tether it directly to a PC. So all-in-one, PC-powered, cloud-rendered, however you want to power it. We also offer many ways of controlling it. So you have your traditional 6-stop controllers, but we also have hand tracking and gesture recognition built into it. And we're offering choice of who you want to work with and what you want to work with Lenovo on. We want you to work with our products, but if you want to work with our ThinkReality MDM to support your ecosystem, great. If you'd rather use Intune, or rather use Arbor XR, or rather use VMware, you have that option. We're also offering you choices in development. So this will be under the OpenXR SDK through Snapdragon Spaces. So with our great partners at Qualcomm, they'll be helping out on that. But you'll also have Unreal and Unity plugins to do this as well. So your options for development are also fairly open. In addition to that, we have many ISV partners that we work with that can help create your experiences, and we don't tell you who you need to work with. We want to make this as open as possible, but still remain secure. So we are obviously very excited about the VRX, and I'm going to quickly go through why Lenovo. I've got 10 very quick reasons. Try and go through them very fast. So, number 10 is TSP. Now, enterprises really care about their suppliers. So Lenovo's Trusted Supplier Program looks at everything from the financial, the integrity, all the aspects of an organization that could be a supplier for us. And we take that very seriously. And if they don't get past that, they don't work with us. We have a privacy design review that actually looks at geographic, locational privacy standards and adheres to them wherever it is in the world, wherever the device is being launched. And this device will be pretty much global, be North America, Latin America, EMEA, the AP regions, as well as China. We have a global security lab that looks at every bit of code on the device and makes sure it's up to par and that there are no security leaks. We are open source compliant, so we submit all of our code for review, make sure it's stored and properly addressed through open source committees. We have a hardware safety team that looks at every bit of the hardware, from the battery safety to the suppliers that actually give us the hardware and make sure that their facilities are up to par, as well as the things that they actually give us. We have a very strong environmental social governance team that looks at our carbon footprint when we develop these devices, how we recycle them, every aspect within the Lenovo chain. We pay attention to how we actually are impacting the world around us. And Lenovo has a pretty legendary service after the sale. So when we're working with our customers, we know that the first sale and the first actual interaction is only part of it. We know that coming from that point forward, it's about how we continue to service that customer that really does matter. And we feel like we're pretty much at the top of the heap there. And we have an internal XRS team, meaning the team that will actually go in and develop content for you should you need assistance there, or you need logistics support, platform support, you want to do on-prem deployments, XRS team can help there. We also offer DaaS financial services. And a lot of our corporate customers are extremely interested in this because they don't want to pay all that money that they're going to invest in a single instance. So Lenovo's DaaS financial team can go in and can actually take the entirety of the cost and amortize it across many months and give you low monthly costs that can then be pushed out across multiple years. You can take the ISV portions, the hardware portions, every aspect of that can be lumped in and then can be paid out over time. But as mentioned, the number one reason is that we're a trusted brand. That's why we believe that Lenovo products belong in the enterprise. We have quite a few major partners here on the ISV side, and these are some names that you probably know if you've been working in the space for any time. There's my Engage avatar, the younger, better-looking version of me. So Engage is a great platform for doing remote collaboration, open spacing. They're having a launch in the next few months. There'll be Engage Link, where they'll have essentially a persistent world. You'll be able to visit a Lenovo facility within that, along with other businesses and schools and things of that nature. Tailspin is one of the leaders in immersive training. They give you a no-code editor called a Copilot Designer, allow you to create your own content with no background having creating that content. Transfer, which makes amazing hard skill training, and that hard skill training can lead to reskilling or upskilling people. Roundtable, who works with the biggest brands in the world and does bespoke content. Groups like Amazon, Walmart, they've been creating content for many years with them. XR Health, who actually use FDA-approved therapies to help people get back to their lives from their home. They have therapies that, from a VR perspective, put on the headset, you're in your home, your therapist can work with you, and you can get back to your living. I mean, the amount of good that can be done with platforms like that is amazing. And then we have Uptail, who's one of our partners for a long time, and they're still somehow pushing the boundaries of what's possible with 360 video content. 360 video content was probably some of the first stuff any of us tried in VR, and they're still managing to do new and groundbreaking things with it. And they should have some interesting announcements coming in the next few months from that perspective. So the ThinkReality VRX is coming early 2023. We're very excited to have this product out. I personally am very relieved to be able to talk about it publicly after many, many months of working on this. So thank you, everyone, for allowing me to share this with you today. And you'll be hearing a lot more over the next few months from us. Technical details, new partners, lots of big affiliations that we're working with to bring this product to market. And before I go, I want to remind you of where we are in our space. So currently, as of this day, and I did the math on these things, well, I didn't do the math. I went to a website that did the math for me. So we are 31 years, 1 month, and 23 days since that public release announcement of the internet. And around the same time where we are today for the metaverse, this is what they were saying about the internet. Internet and flop is my favorite one. And this guy here, if you look into him, Clifford Stull, he's still living this article down. That was in Newsweek, and he even wrote a book called the Silicon Snake Oil Salesman or something like that. He clearly was not on board with it, but he's still dealing with the repercussions of writing that article. I really would be curious to get his take on the metaverse. So this is what people are saying, or were saying, at this period of time where we are metaverse-wise. So you use the same math. That date, if we go back from when we use that initial point, the Oculus Rift CV1, is still 25 years in the future. May 18th, 2047. To get to the point where we are today with the internet, from just a time chronological sense, we have to get to 2047, 25 years in the future. So we are still early days, still looking at this down the road. And we absolutely do not know what that future holds. The only thing we do know is that date, at least it's a Saturday. So we got that to look forward to. Thank you, everyone.